Good afternoon. My name's Linda Stoughton. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for St. Johns County. Welcome to St. Johns County's first press conference on Hurricane Dorian. We are going to talk about critical evacuation information this afternoon. At this time, I want to turn the podium over to County Administrator, Mr. Michael Wanchek.
Thank you, Linda. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Mike Wanchek. I'm County Administrator for St. Johns County. We've called this press conference together because we want the community to understand the threat that this community now faces. The latest information we're receiving from the National Weather Service indicates an increased threat to St. Johns County in the form of severe coastal erosion, flooding of low-lying areas and along the coastline, and significant tropical winds yet to be determined. Those conditions may improve as this storm plays out, but we see no indication of that being the case. In fact, the situation could become more severe as the storm progresses closer to our county. As a result, we have issued this afternoon an evacuation order for St. Johns County, evacuation zones A and B in the low-lying portions of the county, principally Hastings and Flagler Estates. A and B generally lie along the coastline. You can check the county's homepage if you're uncertain as to which of the zones you're located in. A and B are the beginning zones. Other zones may follow, and we will make those announcements. In addition, we are opening our hurricane shelters. I believe we're opening 6 tomorrow, special needs and pet-friendly shelters included. We'll start with, I believe, 6. We'll expand those if it is necessary to do so. Again, we will open those tomorrow at 8 o'clock. For those residents that are planning to go to a shelter, we encourage you to review our homepage and the public information we're putting out to the community so you know what to expect when you arrive and what to bring with you when you come to those shelters. They are, as I've said in the past, not hotel rooms. They're not necessarily comfortable, but they will protect you and hopefully save your life if that's what it comes to. If you've got the ability to leave early, we're encouraging our residents to do so. If you're going to visit family, friends, or someone outside the county, it would be well advised for you to begin this evening to lessen the load of traffic on emergency evacuation zones throughout the county. Again, this storm is anticipated at a minimum to have severe coastal impacts, flooding of low-lying areas, very similar to some of the storms we've seen in recent years. But as we've learned in recent years, no two storms are identical. This storm has the potential to more severely impact St. Johns County than anything we've seen in its recent history. So we're really strongly encouraging the community to follow the guidance of your public officials and especially your first responders. They are well-equipped, they are well-trained, and they're highly experienced in these matters. They have brought the community safely through the past several events, and I have every confidence they will do so as we move forward in the coming days. So please heed their advice. With those comments being made, I'd like to turn the podium over to Sheriff David Shore.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start with some good news, and the good news is that county employees, city employees across St. Johns County have been engaged 24/7 for the last few days since this storm first presented itself. We've got great collaboration going on. We have great synergy. We have great teamwork. And unfortunately, this is not the first time we've had to go through this. So I want to hit a few areas real quick for our citizens. And first of all, safety and lessening risk, safety and lessening our risk is the order of the day, okay? We plan on the worst case scenario because it's very difficult to ramp up and easy to ramp down. So we're ramping it up, and we're going to be hitting full deployment and full activation as the evacuation order goes into effect tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Evacuations. I've already had several calls about this. The evacuation order goes in tomorrow morning for zones A and B and the low-lying areas. you will still have unfettered access over the bridges during the evacuation period. The bridges will become closed. It's a separate issue. That's a subjective call made based on situational awareness. And usually when it hits about 40 to 45 miles an hour, we shut the bridges down. I anticipate that probably happening late Tuesday. So you can still go back and forth, but when we have to pull the trigger to close those bridges, we're going to close them. We've also listened to our citizens, and we've done things to speed up the reopening of our bridges when that time comes. So we know that's been difficult for our citizens. Another caution. In this age of social media, which has been tremendous for us and all this information out there, be smart on where you get your information from. I've been involved in this operation now for the last 3 or 4, and even the meteorologists have had challenges with this storm that I haven't seen, and I go back to Andrew when that happened in '92. So I guess the bottom line is this: take care of your families, be aware, and there's a certain amount of personal responsibility here. I want to close on this. When citizens accept the risk, oftentimes that means we have to accept the risk. I'll give you an example. If a family decides to ride out the storm in St. Augustine Shores, let's say for instance, and then they decide to leave and the water's too high and their car starts floating away with a family in it, we have to accept that risk to go out and try to save that family. We had that happen in the last storm. We almost lost some public safety folks. So we want to be smart, think of the worst case scenario. This is a storm of storms. Don't know where it's going to hit, don't know what the impact's going to be, but it's not going to be good if it hits or gets close to land. So help your neighbors, help people. We have a lot of vulnerable people. We have a lot of senior citizens in our county. We have a lot of special needs people. I also want to reassure the public that our shelters will be fully manned and equipped to deal with the myriad issues that come up when you're running these shelters. And I want to thank the school board, Tim Forson and his team, and everybody in government is working together. Finally is this. Again, plan for the worst case scenario, prepare for the worst, pray and hope for the best. But in the meantime, we're all citizens, and this could easily turn into a life and death situation rapidly. So let's be smart. We're here to help. If anybody sees us out there, and I know I speak for the other law enforcement agencies here, we're here to help. We're not here to hinder. We're not here to cause people problems. We want to make sure you're safe. We want you to get your stuff, get off. I mean, I live on a barrier island, and my family's not going to be on that barrier island when this thing goes down. So let's make sure we keep situationally aware. With that, I don't really have any other comments. Mr. Wanchek, I'll turn it back to you. Sure.
Thank you, Sheriff. I know that Chairman of the County Commission, Paul Waldron, would like to make a few comments. So, Mr. Chairman?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Waldron. Just want to kind of ask the residents to be calm through this process. Be patient with the evacuation process. Make sure take care of your families first. Get ready. Listen to the law enforcement as you proceed out. Watch the traffic patterns and the weather. The main thing, want to give y'all a telephone number to remember. It's going to be 904-824-5550, which will give you a direct line to our wonderful staff over here that's been answering the phones for 2 to 3 days now, and they can help you, assist you with any of your needs. As we move forward, this storm can make a wobble and would be very dangerous for our community. We've had 2 storms that have been, brushes. They hit hard. It's been traumatic for the residents involved. But please make sure your safety is number one. If you were in the flooded areas before, you could probably anticipate it this time again, so be prepared. And I just want to let you know your county staff and everybody's working hard with the city governments in our area too, and state government, and all our partner organizations are here present today, from the American Red Cross, the United Way, and everybody else that helps out. And we're prepared to help you with anything you need. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Wanchek.
Mayor, would you like to make a few comments regarding the city?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wanchek. I want to underscore a couple of things that have already been said. the level of cooperation and coordination and camaraderie amongst the folks, not only on this stage, but you can't see the probably 75 to 100 other folks in the room that have been working together for days, is impressive and it's heartening. These are also veterans that have been through at least 2 storms in the last 3 years, and so there's a level of expertise and experience here that I think has served the county, the city of St. Augustine very well in the past, and will continue to serve us very well. The city manager is here with me, the chief of police, the fire chief. They have been working very closely with county officials to make sure that the particular needs of the city are well taken care of. We do anticipate, we have every reason to believe that the impacts to the city will be substantially similar to what we have seen with both Irma and Matthew, where we did have flooding in Davis Shores and Lincolnville and other parts of the community. And so therefore it is very important that our city residents take that into consideration while they make their plans. We're as prepared as we can be, not only for the storm, but to respond to the storm afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. So just to wrap up, and we'll take a few questions, I think you hear that the community, local governments, our affiliated agencies are all speaking with one voice. We have every confidence that we will get this community safely through this storm, provided we all work together. And that spirit of community is what successfully got us through Hurricanes Irma and Matthew in recent years. So if we stick to those protocols, we work together, I think we'll be just fine in the end. But again, as the sheriff said, this is a life-threatening situation. You don't have to stretch that belief when you look at the map and the size, the intensity, and the unpredictable nature of that storm. So let's all approach this as a life-saving, life-threatening situation, and hopefully it will not turn out to be so. Are there any questions?
Do you know how many people are in zones A and B total?
Linda? Excuse me, Mayor.
A and B total would be 148,500.
Anyone else? Well, if there's no other questions at this time, let me repeat the number that the chairman put out for the Emergency Operations Center. It's 904-824-5550. And all the information we're putting out on the storm is included on the county's homepage for St. Johns County. Feel free to access that information. Everything we have, all our press releases, all the shelter information, what to bring to a shelter, everything you could possibly need at this point in time is on the county's homepage. Thank you much for listening to us.